So I read an article about ASMR, and so like, how'd that sound? Did that sound good? Yeah, I got a thumbs up. How about this? Did that sound good? Cool. It's the Mavs and the Spurs. I don't know why do we have just a pair of scissors sitting here. Mavs and the Spurs tonight at American Airlines Center. 7:30 tip, that's local time, on Fox Sports Southwest, ESPN Radio, and League Pass. Kind of a new thing for this rivalry. We've been so used to the Spurs being really good, Jalen. They have made the playoffs every single season since, I believe, 1998. Now, that might be not true, but I'm pretty sure every single year since 1997, 98, they've made the playoffs. But tonight, the Spurs enter American Airlines Center, Dallas. Our home turf, right here, across the street, on a 5-game losing streak. 5-8 overall. 1-4 on the road. Very unusual for them. The last time, Jalen, that they lost 5 games in a row was 2011. They ended up losing in the first round of the playoffs that year, and the Mavs won the championship. The last time before 2011 that they lost 5 games in a row was 1997. This team never struggles ever. They had that year, by the way, 7 streaks of at least 5 losses. One streak reached 8. And to repay them for all of their struggles, they were gifted Tim Duncan. So they would tell you that it was worth it. Basically, every time the Spurs struggle, it means either they're going to get a Hall of Fame player in the draft, or the Mavericks are going to win the championship. The Mavs, meanwhile, 3-3 at home this year after winning their last game against the Raptors, which was a much needed win, by the way, because they were 2-3 at home. You got to have like a significantly winning record at home in order to make the playoffs in the West. The Mavs nearly choking on this pastrami. What is this? This meat. Is it salami or pastrami? They got 3 games left on this homestand, and their next 2, so against the Spurs tonight and against the Warriors on Wednesday, are 2 of the only 4 teams that have not recorded a single win against teams that are currently over 500 this season. So they lose to winning teams. The Spurs, I believe, are like 0-4. The Warriors are 0-5 or 0-6 or something. They have not beaten a single winning team. And now the Mavs, if you look at the standings, the Mavs are 7-5, which means they're above 500, which means they need to win 2 of these games, right? They got to win the next 2. They got to beat Cleveland on Friday, because after that, Jalen, it gets real. They go to Houston. They play the Clippers. They go to Phoenix, who for whatever reason play like the Celtics anytime they play the Mavs. And then, of course, they cap it off, I think, by going to LA. They might go to LA before they go to Phoenix, but either way, they're playing LeBron again. So, really tough 4-game stretch following this one. A little bit more about the Spurs. What am I going to be watching for tonight? Well, the Mavs got off to a pretty good start against Toronto. There's all this stuff about like their rotation and the starting lineup and everything. They got off to a good start in that game, and then kind of struggled toward like the back end of the first quarter and into the second quarter. Of course, the Raptors outscored them by 17 points, Jalen, 38-21 in the second quarter. The Mavs have historically gotten off to pretty sluggish starts these last few years. So you gotta, whatever the starting lineup is gonna be, you gotta start hot tonight. The reason that starting hot is big is because the Mavs are actually the number 1 team in the second quarter by net rating. Even after getting drubbed by 17 by Toronto the other night, they're the number 1 team by net rating in the second quarter. And so, if you get off to a good start, and then you do what you normally do in the second quarter, you can be winning this game at halftime by like a pretty comfortable margin. And if you do, that's huge. Now, why is that huge, Jalen? Tell me. It's big because the Spurs don't shoot threes. They're dead last in the NBA in 3-point attempts per game. They take 25.1 threes per game. Now, sounds like a lot, it's because it is. They've taken the fewest threes in the league this year, But they would have led the NBA in three-point attempts per game 25 different times before this season. And so if you can get up 10 points, 12 points, even like 6 or 8 points, your lead is it's a little more difficult to overcome because the Spurs aren't going to be shooting 43s like the Mavs do, like the Raptors do, like most of these other teams do. So you got to build a lead. Spearheading, by the way, their lack of three-point attempts. I really do like his game. DeMar DeRozan, averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists per game. Really good player. He has not made a three this season. He's 0 for 4. Who else do you got to watch for? LaMarcus Aldridge always has big games against the Mavs. Always does. That dude is like Tyranitar. I don't think that anybody thinks that he's like their favorite Pokemon, right? Tyranitar. But he's really, really good. He's strong physically, really good physical attack. He's not the fastest or anything like that, but he's real bulky. He's just tough to take down. He's really tough to stop. T-Tar comes in and he does what he does. Another guy that you got to watch out for, DeJounte Murray. You might not be familiar with the game, but he made second team all defense, I think, as a rookie. If not, then in his second year. Like, he is like legitimately very, very good. He's like a giant Kofagrigas, right? He's just got arms, length. Really, if he touches you, it's mummy is the ability. So if he guards people and shuts them down, Bryn Forbes, really good player, really good three-point shooter. He's 6'2", 190. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the fastest guy. He's not like an exceptional handler of the ball or driver of the lane or anything. But he's a dead-eye three-point shooter. He's incredible. He's like a little Mimikyu, right? He doesn't look very threatening. And then the next thing you know, turn your head. He sneaks up behind you and hits a three right in your face. So you got to be careful with him. He's had a couple big games against the Mavs in the past. But to me, this game is about Aldridge. The Mavs always struggle against Aldridge. He averaged 22 and 8 against them last year. Really good post-up player. How's Luka going to take on DeJounte Murray? And then who the heck is going to stop Bryn Forbes? I want to say that it was salami. Because the red meat, I think, is pastrami, right? Like this is a bad rib. This is pastrami, I think. Continue eating the sandwich. Holy cow. What else should I talk about? Let's talk about Luka. I'm glad this didn't come with tomatoes on it.